Yo, what's up, folks? Just getting on here real quick. Wanted to go over some stuff um, with everybody. Hopefully, you guys can hear me. Hello? All right. Okay, so this Friday, going to be going over some good topics about the Great Reset. Um, one of the interesting things is that we know that the last Great Reset we had pertained to era of living that we're living in now with regards to Tartaria and seeing how they were able to sweep that stuff under the rug and get us to change our ideas on who we are and where we come from and lost technology and the advanced technology that they had during that time. And we are starting to see that resets are happening right now as far as sweeping history under the rug and changing narratives. One of the big things that I was questioning about was is the real purpose and the real meaning of why they're getting rid of a lot of our historical narrative statues. You find out that they're getting rid of things in public view that are pertaining to our history. And the big question for me is why would you want to do something like that? Especially with things pertaining to our founding fathers. Why would you want to remove these statues and these symbols of hope and freedom and and revolution, as far as the Americans standing up to their oppressors? A lot of people are saying, "Oh, well, it's racist stuff." Well, that's just a narrative. I think that the government is allowing these idiots, these far left people, to change the narrative based on this false. Um, it's like you don't like somebody, so you want to make up something to get rid of them, or to have other people look at it and have pick showing them something about somebody that's really not true. Um, though there are some aspects of why we would want to have they would want to remove Thomas Jefferson's statue in Philadelphia or other places where you see them tearing down monuments to General Lee, or removing statues. They were even talking about trying to remove statues of Abraham Lincoln, which is really absurd. And I mean, it's really freaking far-fetched and it's stupid to think that we've come that far where this generation has lost its meaning and its way of being, patriotic and knowing their history. And this goes into the whole thing of, like I said, the reset is not only just with the people, but if you can get a people to change their aspects and their views of what they are believing in, and you can control the narrative, not only just at home but in schools. You see a lot of the stuff in schools that they're teaching kids has nothing to do with values pertaining to a pride, a sense of who we are and where we come from, and our history of how we fought to become this great nation that we are at this point in time. And a lot of people don't understand that the America is a baby country. I mean, we've only been around less than 300 years. And a lot of people think, oh, well, we're not like these other nations that have been around for like thousands and thousands of years. You've got, Iran, you've got Russia, you've got Great Britain, you've got Africa, you've got, South America, you've got, I mean, I could go on and on, but a lot of people don't realize that America, with the help and the aid of other countries, France, Spain, the Native Americans who were here, that were fighting against the British and other other tribes that were going on this and the side of the revolutionists to beat America and drive them out. That this country, with the aid of and the financial aid of these other countries, was able to break itself free from one of the most powerful empires in the world. And we were able to do that because we had patriots and people who were just typical people. They were just farmers. They were freaking, shop workers. They were people that were, run of the mill neighbors and teachers and scholars and lawyers. And they stood up and said, my country needs me and we're going to make a difference here. And they were tired of the bullshit. And that's exactly what they did. And that's what we saw. And that's where we are now. Is we have these people who are trying to suppress and trying to get a dictatorship of government, where our history is literally being attacked. And it's really sad to see that you can go up and ask people common sense questions that you would think that they should know, and they don't even know the answers to the questions of our history or history in general. And that's where you see the reset coming in. Is you see the change, like I said, not only just in the media and the narrative, but just in the learning cycles of schools and the teaching of our children of valuable information and history, that they are being, it's being dumped. It's being thrown out of the schools. You're seeing that the government itself is actually taking the literature out of the schools and calling it not worthy to be taught to our kids. Oh, well, that's old stuff. They don't need to know about that. Why is it not important for our children to know about, certain aspects of the growth of this nation pertaining to not only just Native Americans, the Africans? I wouldn't even say they're Africans. I would just say the native tribes, because we know that the Africans were here on this continent way before Christopher Columbus came, and they were, and they still are a part of the Native American tribes here in the United States. And that's one fact that people need to get out of their head, is that, oh, well, the African slaves were brought here from Africa. Well, that might be true to a sense, but you have to remember that there were freaking African tribes that were here living, and they were mingling with the Native Americans. And that stuff is being suppressed. Our children don't even understand and realize the history and the core values of this country, because they don't teach it anymore. Now you're learning about freaking, you have like stupid mayors in New York talking about, well, we're going to teach kids to weed out conspiracy theorists and things that are people talking about or against the government, to weed them out. Pretty much is, we're going to teach you how to turn against your neighbor if they're doing something that's speaking up against the government. Or, why would you even want to be teaching your kids something like that? Why are we not like teaching our children core values and learning how to be sustainable citizens, Americans, and being able to work and have freaking a good, skill set, a good mindset, teaching our kids, how to grow food, how to build homes, how to build and use their hands, or just be very economically viable to sustain themselves, because they don't want that. They want everybody dependent on the government. A lot of shit is going on. It's a lot of stuff is happening, and I don't think people are aware of the serious nature of what is going on or what is about to take place. I think that if you look in deep and you have these people, not only just like myself, that do a lot of research on this stuff, and talk and communicate with other people within the research sector of finding this information that is out there, I don't think you realize that this AT&T thing came right after the Senate Judiciary Committee questioned them about why they were allowing Chinese governments to not even infiltrate. They were straight up telling them to shut and suppress people down in China because they were talking about the government. Then we had the AT&T shutdown, and a lot of people's service went off. Why? Nobody's questioning that. Nobody's finding that suspicious. Why? Because you're just going about your day. You're just doing your same old stuff. And then when the shit hits the fan, it's like, oh, fuck. Now what do I do? These fools are getting ready for something big. We have the presidential elections, which are gonna decide the fate of this country to a degree that nobody has ever seen since the Revolutionary War. And I think now a lot of people need to take in stride the historical nature of what is going on in America. Not even just in America. You've seen El Salvador, their president come out and he was talking about how they had to, they fought for 50 years, over 50 years to get to this point now where they are at a place where they have had enough. The people have had enough. They've elected a president who's actually going to do something for the country, and not only with just within the country, but with other neighboring countries around them. And they're warning America. If you looked at CPAC and you've seen El Salvador and Argentina's president, everybody's like, oh, well, he's just another little Trump. Well, that's good for them. That's good that that country is getting somebody who gives a shit about their country and is doing something and making a stand and saying, we've had enough. We're going to take our country back. And El Salvador is doing the same thing. But the warning to America was this: do not be like we were, where we let these idiots come in here and destroy our country. We let them come in here and tell us that they were going to save us, that they were going to change things. Nothing happened. And we became a slumlord state. We couldn't even freaking take care of our people. They were starving. We had all these criminals running around. Now look at America. They're telling us, do not become like what we were. Get out of this situation now. Make a change now. Make something happen before you become like that frog in the boiling water, where you get too freaking stuck to where you're just sitting there. And then by the time you realize it, it's too late. So I just wanted to put that out that, I really hope that people are realizing and understanding what is going on in this country, and not only just our country, but in the world. I mean, you look at Europe, for Christ's sake. The people have had enough and they're fighting to get their country back because they've had it. And people want to look at it and say, oh, well, how can, people are being unruly? And no, it's not being unruly. You got to understand something, folks. We are the people that run the government. We are the people who own our rights to our own lives. We are the people who should be making things happen. These senators and these congressmen, they are just up there representatives of us. And if they're not doing their job, if they're not making our demands heard, and they're not making our demands forcibly, being put forth in front of, everybody else, and they're just going along with the narrative and doing what everybody else wants for the betterment of themselves, how is that a freaking a republic? How are we being represented as American citizens? We're not. Because you see, they're passing these bills. I didn't agree with that shit, and I know a lot of us did. We didn't say, hey, this is something that I want to do, but they're taking our money and they're running and they're doing whatever the hell they want without the consent of the people. Now that's a big deal. You might not think so, but it is, because you should not be making moves without the approval of the people. And a big shift is coming. And one of the things that we are seeing now is that they're trying to do this great reset. And, sorry, I was getting on this big rant, but I just wanted to put this out there real quick, is you're seeing this shift of the World Economic Forum talking about, well, a great reset is coming and we need to depopulize the earth. We need to figure out how we're going to, shift from, where we're at now to something that's going to benefit us, the one percenters, because they look at us, the normal citizens, as just rabble and excess. We're just taking up space. We're just taking up air. We're just taking up food. We're the problem to these one percenters, is pretty much what they're saying. And a lot of people aren't realizing this is a big problem. This is a very big problem. And when we talk about the reset, we see this throughout history, and it's not just something that happens um, on a natural sense where the earth does its shift, because that's something that is happening as well. We're seeing that the poles are shifting steadily um, right now, and we're seeing the effects of that with these tsunamis, with these earthquakes, with these natural disasters that are happening across the world, across this plane. And it's something that I think these people know about. They're not going to share it with you. Why would they? I mean, if they've got the means to take care of themselves, why would they waste their money trying to freaking build shelters and inside the earth that would house and protect everybody if they could just freaking do it and save themselves? And a lot of people don't realize that. And we're jumping on this whole bandwagon with, Beyonce and all this other stupid crap in sports. Piss on all that shit. People need to start realizing and getting the facts straight on getting their priorities focused. And it's not about fear mongering. It's not about it's about being prepared and people being awake to the fact of what's really going on, and doing things that they need to sustain their family. Because when things start going south, you want to be prepared. You want to be ready for anything that's going to happen. So pay attention to a lot of little things that are going on um, behind the scenes. If you don't watch government, the hearings that they have, the congressional hearings, or you don't watch Senate, listen to a lot of things that they're talking about, or the subject matter that they're trying to put forth, because a lot of things are being suppressed. If you think that the Joe Biden thing and the Hunter Biden thing is just, something that's popping up, that's happening now because of the presidential election, you're sorely mistaken. This has been going on for a long, long time. Joe Biden didn't just pop up and was like, hey, I was vice president, now I'm going to be president. This man's been a senator for a long time, and he's been doing this corrupt crap for years. But it's only till they've been able to have somebody to put in power that's going to make them rich, that it started becoming, okay, well, I want a piece of this, and I'm going to do what I have to for this 1% of this population that's, my buddies or whatever, and we're gonna benefit from it. And you see the price that a lot of people are paying for it with Palestine, and these third world countries that are being suppressed and being shot down um, by these big corporate governments. And El Salvador, like I said earlier, El Salvador and Argentina have said enough, and they're cutting all these people out, and they're making a stand, and they're making their political voices heard, and they're not putting up with their crap anymore. And I think this is where they're trying to wake up people in response for support of the United States, because they see that we are heading for where they were, and getting themselves in this communist dictatorship of rule of government over the people. And they are really, really trying to make people aware and get this push to see if people are going to realize it before it's too late. So, with that being said, I just wanted to put that out there. I know it was a little rant, and it's off topic of what I usually do, but it was just something that I've been looking at and following for a few days now, and researching and getting into before this Friday comes up in 2 days, when we talk about the Great Reset. That a lot of this stuff has to do with what is coming. And these people are planning it. It's something that's not just, oh, well, piss on it. We just came up with this idea yesterday. They've been planning this for a while. And this is something that I think, a lot of people should really pay attention to and dive in to being prepared, not only just for your families. And I posted something the other day about waking up and realizing to my friends and families, that you guys, take heed to this stuff, because, it's better to be prepared than to be sorry. It's better to be ready and not have to be ready than to be ready and not have your shit together. Because when, you need it, and it comes down to the fact that ready, and if we're not, we're going to be screwed. And I don't think another thing that people realize is that we've been at over our budget and owe trillions of dollars in debt, and the big stakeholder is China. These people they own our debt. And a lot of people go, oh, well, that doesn't really matter, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it does. It makes a very big impact on why we are seeing that the Congress is really shitting bricks right now, because our debt that we owe is in the pocket of one of the biggest global communist countries, and they're allowed to get away with a lot of things in this country. We see them coming across the border by thousands. We see them owning and buying up businesses and lands and property all over America. Why? People don't question this stuff, and they don't think about why this communist country, who has a stake and is holding our debt in their hand, would not be allowed, because they have these senators and these congressmen and the president himself in their pocket. And it's really shady and it's really scary, but a lot of people, like I said, are not going to realize it until it's too late. And it's going to be something that we need to be prepared for, because this election is coming up in November, and they are doing everything they can within their power to hold their ground and to make anything possible. And right now, the focus is on Israel and Palestine and Hamas and Iran and North Korea and Russia and China and these little countries in CPAC that are dropping the American dollar and saying, well, these guys are going to sit here and keep printing this money, and this dollar is not going to really mean shit. Why don't we just group together and just get the gold back standard? And it's not just Russia. It's about 25 other countries that are jumping on board with Russia to go to the gold back standard and drop the American dollar, because the American dollar is pretty much going to be worthless, because we're going to fault on our debt, and China is going to freaking take what they can, because you can't pay your shit. Well, what do you got that you're going to be able to give me? And America is really going to be scrambling to patch its wounds up here, because from a standpoint, a lot of people say, oh, well, it's never going to happen. The crash isn't going to happen. Look at what we're seeing in New York with this Trump lawsuit. What was it, $334 million, $533 million or whatever they're saying he has to pay. And now you've businesses that are pulled by the hundreds out in New York, and you have people that are fed up saying, we're going to stand with the president and not bring you goods in, because if you're going to be able to screw somebody over like that and just tell them, well, you really didn't do anything wrong, but we're going to give you a fine anyway, and you're going to have to pay it, that just shows their level of corruptness. And if they can do that to him, and they can freaking do it to any business owner, and you have a lot of people that are pulling their businesses out of there, and it's not just for the sake of that, but you got to realize Trump is a smart man. He had this thing planned out. Since this whole thing came into play, his plan of getting things done and having things fall into place the way he wanted them to fall into place is happening as he said it would. They thought they were going to screw him over. They thought they were going to get over and Alita James, or whatever her name is, sitting there talking about, well, we're going to get our hands on Trump Tower and his assets. Good luck with that. And the man is so smart that they do not realize that Trump does not own his name per se. He leases it out to these businesses that have bought shares, pretty much own the companies. And the judge that handed out this sentencing, or this fine for him, it's not necessarily on Trump. It's in all his businesses, corporate business owners that are with him. You think these people are just going to sit over and take it? No. This is why this man is so smart, is because now these businesses that these corporations that own these other businesses are pulling out of New York. The man is smart. He's not dumb. He knows what he's doing, and he's going to, the chips are going to fall where they lie. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, Trump is going to come out on top of this thing, and a lot of people are going to go to jail. A lot of people are going to go to prison. This is something that's going to come out, and I'm telling you right now, if the Democrats, I said this 2 years ago, the Democrats are pushing for Russia to go to war. That's what they have to fall back on. They have that, the downfall of the economy, the immigrants that are coming across the border by the thousands and tons from all over the countries that don't want their freaking prisoners anymore, that they're releasing them and they're letting them flood the southern border. These men are military age, and I posted it weeks ago, but I've been saying this for years since this crap started getting worse. These fools are planning something. They're planning something big. Something, and this is not just coming from my mouth. This is coming from government officials, sheriffs, prominent leaders. I posted that video of the Senate committee when they came out and they were talking about the whole immigration thing. And the problem is that they know there's an imminent threat. It's not about where it's going to happen. It's about when these idiots are going to do something dumb. And the Democrats have allowed this to happen. People are not waking up. You see these cities that are falling and they're in decline all over America. Why? It's not just because they're trying to help people in third world countries that really actually need the help, that really want to come to America and love this country and assimilate and be a part of our culture and be a part of one of the greatest nations in the world. No, these assholes want to come here and tear this country from the inside because that was their ploy. That was their plot. And there's homeless people that are being paid to be homeless. They're getting $650, $675 from the government to be homeless, to do drugs on the street. The Democrat Party is not the Democrat Party. And I'm not even just going to say it's the communist parties that are ruling in the United States, that are working in shadow governments. Like that show, The Man in the High Tower. That's not just a show. This is reality. These people have had their hands in America for years. And that video that I posted of the Nazis after World War II in freaking Manhattan at Madison Square Garden. These cells have been operating here in the United States and have just been waiting for their chance to do something stupid because these leaders that we have are on their side. And a lot of people are sitting here going, oh man, yeah, whatever. It doesn't have anything to do with me. It does have something to do with you because it has something to do with every one of us. We are going to watch the decline of this country in a bad way. And it's not something that's just going to happen. I pray to God that it's not something that happens drastically like it did in 9/11, but that's what they're telling us. Something is going to happen. They're just waiting for the win because it's already too late. You've got thousands of these people in the country. They're telling you to arm yourself and be ready and be prepared to do whatever you have to and take the necessary steps to be aware of your surroundings, to watch where you're going. Look in cities stay away from these cities that are freaking, allowing these immigrants to come through, these El Salvadorians and these Hondurans and these people from Syria. I mean, for Christ's sake, these are countries that do not want anything to do with these guys. They don't want anything to do with America. They're here to do one thing, exactly what the freaking Communist Party that is running America in both parties, Democrats and Republicans, because you have Republicans that are just going along with the narrative. And it's sad to say that you have people that are standing up here, throwing their veterans and their military status up here to get the Senate, but you're fucking standing against your own people. You're a fucking coward, and you need to be fucking removed from office. We, the people, need to start freaking understanding that we have the power to control the narratives of this country. We are the ones that they have to answer to. And we're the ones that they work for. It's our voices. It's our say so. It's what we want. And if it's not being done, then we need to wake up just like these other countries are doing in Europe and France and Germany and El Salvador and freaking and Hungary and Argentina and realize that we hold the power of this country, and we hold the stakes of what should happen, and we need to make it happen, not for just ourselves but for the future of our children. Because if we don't do something now, if there is not a change that is going to take place, and like I said, I believe Trump's going to win it, and they're going to do everything that they can in their power to do something that is going to shift that. And what it is, or when it is, or where it's going to happen, I don't know. But like I said, the heads that have met together with the Security Council, they have come forward and they've said this is going to happen. Something is going to happen, and these a-holes are allowing it to happen. And we need to be aware of it. Was that an earthquake? That was weird. Anyway, so it's all fine and dandy to look at our history. If we don't realize the mistakes from our history, folks, and teach our children to learn from what we did and how we got to where we're at, as far as being the baby nation of the world, and the greatness that we have and the capabilities of becoming a great nation to our children, then what is the point? If you take and remove that stuff from our children, from our schools, and it starts from the home. We're the parents. We need to be enforcing that stuff. We need to be teaching our children. Our children go to school to learn and be educated on fundamentals to be able to sustain them through life. But the crap that's coming into the schools with, like I said, with this communist indoctrination and the Rothschilds and their take and their hold on the educational institute because of the funding that they get from them, then we need to take charge of that. We need to make sure that our kids understand and realize that, you know, they have the power and they hold it. They should not be servants to the government. It is the people who run the government, not the government running the people and doing whatever they want. That being said, I hope everybody had a good day. This was just one of my daily rants. Don't go off and, trip out and be like, oh man, this dude's done lost it. But we will get together on Friday. I posted the event, and I'm glad that there are a lot of people that are getting on board and they're going to meet up on Friday. But we are going to have a good one. I'm out of the office right now because doing some stuff in there and getting that straightened out real quick. But I will see you guys Friday. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe to the page. Not only on Facebook, Seeker of the Unknown, but also on YouTube. And I am still working on the Spotify podcast. I got some kinks I got to work out because I'm not just quite there yet. So share the page, like it, subscribe it, and I will see you guys Friday. And you guys have a good one. Take care. Keep your head on a swivel. Don't fall for the BS, guys. It's coming. It's happening. It's here. We are about to see some great, crazy, catastrophic things that are going to come to place. And we are witnessing it. And like I said, I just hope that everybody realizes, what's going on, and we will figure it out together. And we will, we will, we will come out on top. And like I said, I believe that everything will work out in the end. It's just going to come to the fact that we need to band together and stick together and do what's best for not only the people of our great nation, but our kids too. So I will see you guys later. Thank you guys for joining me today, for everybody that came through. And I will see you guys in 2 days. And remember, always question everything. Don't take what they're pushing out. And just go take it at face value, but do your research, look at everything. Uh, don't just fall for what they're pushing out, and just seek out the answers. And I'll see you guys Friday.